Hello, everyone. Welcome to Table Reads here on ScriptCamp. I am your host, Gray. For any of those of you who are new here, what we do is read scripts submitted to us on a form by our members here, and afterwards we can give feedback to the writers, see how we can help them make it better. And yeah, if you choose to participate in the form of reading a part, getting feedback, I will give you script coins. Script coins are a currency here on the server. They can be used to buy various merch or a full-length feature or TV pilot reading of your own. And yeah, there's the Bourbon coins right there. You can get more information. Also, I don't usually, you can check your balance like this, $balance. And that's how you know how many coins you have. So yeah, let's just jump right into it then. First script of the day. The Many Adventures of the Four Sams Pilot by Mutant Llama. This is a fantasy adventure comedy, TV pilot. Logline is 4 teens discover an interdimensional transport device under an abandoned Sam's Club. Looking for general feedback, content warning for swearing and drug references. Anything to add before we start, Mutant Llama? Right? So let's see. Also, if you want to say things while I'm casting parts, you'll have to use your microphone because I cannot see the other chat. But I will start reading out the cast list now. If you'd like the part, just say so. I think we were saying earlier that some people were reserving parts, which is nice. I'm glad you guys are excited to read. I think Pollock, you wanted Samara?
Yes, I want Samara.
Woo. And is
I would love to do direction if that is available.
Oh yes, thank you, Lokavidu. Let's see. Why am I typing that? Alright. There we go. Thank you. Support Chariot is not back.
Here.
Oh wait. Oh, you changed your
whole time.
There you okay, you just changed your That's right. Did you say you wanted something ahead of time?
Yeah, Samantha.
Alright, thank you. You got a parentheses, you're all the way up there. And then, let's see, Jadea, did you want Paula?
Yeah.
Samson?
Paula.
Sweet. Alright, I think that's everyone who said ahead of time they would like a part. That leaves us with Samuel and Samson. Anyone for those parts?
Sure thing.
Thank you, Dan. You can be Samuel.
Okay.
And finally, Samson. Samson.
I'll take
I can
it.
take that.
Oh, wait. Joe, is it okay if he did?
Yeah, sure. That's cool.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Heated, you can be Samson. There is our cast list. Everybody get that PDF open, The Many Adventures of the Four Sams, or else click on PDF stream. It'll just scroll through automatically and you can read it from there. And yeah, Lokavidu, whenever you get that open or see it on stream, just go ahead with direction.
Fantastic. Thank you. Many Adventures of the Four Sams, written by Mutant Llama. Exterior suburban neighborhood. Evening. A sprawling suburban landscape. Little vegetation aside from small manicured lawns. One building of particular interest. Its sign is gone. Parking lot and storefront vacant. The outline of dust where the sign was identifies it as Sam's Club. Interior Sam's Club. A teenage punk, Samuel, is seen climbing on empty shelves.
Wish this town had real trees to climb, or anything real, really.
He reaches the top and looks around.
It's all just manufactured mundanity.
He grabs onto the ceiling support structures and begins swinging across them.
A monument to vanity, if you will. We're too proud to live among the woodland rodents, birds, and, God forbid, shrubbery. We cut down their trees and paved over their burrows.
He flips around, Kicking his legs
Not
on a
proud
crossbeam
enough
and
to
pulling
replace it
himself
with
up
the
onto it.
excitement and debauchery of the city, though. Want peace and quiet? Here it is.
He lies back like a bush hunter on a hammock.
Beyond that, the only thrill is being where I'm not supposed to be. This store bears my name, after all. Why not make it my own? Speaking of which, I have a few minutes until my friends arrive. Secret stash time!
He reaches up and unties a drawstring bag hanging from a light fixture. He rummages through, pulling a pipe from the bag and lighter from his pocket.
Sorry, buddies, no score today. Milk Mary's been out sick all week.
He returns the pipe and lighter and continues to rummage. He pulls out a comic book.
Oh, Tintin, your adventures enthrall, but some of your outdated elements are getting hard to overlook after the third read.
He tosses the magazine aside and finally pulls out an adult-oriented manga.
Here we go. Half decent narratives told through erotic illustrations of beautiful men and women. Gender equality is a win for the buy.
Footsteps echo through the store. The Tintin comic teeters on the edge of a shelf and finally falls. The voice of a girl about Samuel's age, Samara, echoes loudly.
Ow!
Samuel looks up, closing the manga.
Unfamiliar human voice, female teen, probably not a cop, hard to tell. Location due to echo, but I'm guessing.
Did someone lose their racially insensitive comic book around aisle 4?
Aisle 4. Let's get a visual.
He stashes his book, takes a rope from the bag, and climbs across to see Samara, wearing rural attire.
Hi there. I was just
It's okay, one moment.
He ties the string to a beam and descends it quickly.
Not to worry, not supposed to be here either. Don't snitch.
Oh, okay. Is this yours?
Oh, that old thing, it's just
He lights the book on fire with the lighter.
product of its time.
You're gonna burn the building down.
Nah, it's all brick and metal. You new in town? I thought I knew everyone.
I actually just moved here. My name's Samara, Sam for short.
Cool. One issue, though. I'm Sam, short for Samuel. You can be Mara.
Mara? I've never gone by that.
It's not a bad name.
But it's the last part. It's like calling you Mule.
Sounds fair. So, you like exploring?
Yeah, used to having hills and woods to wander in, but now
The book's fire spreads to the floor, burning a hole in material that apparently isn't brick nor metal, revealing a secret room with a strange machine labeled Adventure in all caps.
Sweet Smoky Mary.
Samantha, a girl with hair tied in a bandana carrying a copy of Mutiny on the Bounty, and Samson, a bespectacled boy in loose, worn clothing, arrive while that is happening.
You guys are here. Mara, this is Samantha and Samson, a.k.a. Antha and Sons, respectively. Guys, this is Mara. She's new in town. Giant Hole, also new. Trying to figure out...
guess our project for the day is set already. Let's see inside. Oh, sorry, that's not mine. That's Samantha.
I guess our project for the day is set already. Let's see inside.
While Samson is getting to know Samara, Samantha moves to the hanging rope over to the hole, and they all descend. Samson finds a paper on the ground.
Oh, reading? No pictures? Samantha's a
Samantha
fast
reads
reader.
it.
It's called the Adventure Machine. Each activation is supposed to send anybody nearby to an alternate world where adventure awaits. Only by completing the adventure can you return, but time dilation is supposed to give plenty of time. A day there is an hour here.
Adventure sounds great.
Wait, Mule, we don't know.
Samuel presses a button on the machine anyway. Flash of light. Exterior village outskirts. Day. They are now in the bush, near the outskirts of a medieval village.
how safe it is.
Samara points in the distance.
Hey, rolling hills, forest. Is that so?
Flakes in her auburn hair and a pepper grinder hat. Paula spots them and drops her water bucket to run to
Who's
them.
the?
Hush, shush, the words, do not rush.
She stops at a bush.
A warning you need to heed before leaving your bush.
You speaking in rhymes? What is this, Playhouse Disney?
Unless you enjoy pain, shut your mouth and listen to me. I see your new coming lads and lasses. I'm Paula Peppercorn. My spiciness is an asterisk. Life here is in the food village is fun, but there's an asterisk. You must rhyme all the time or they'll beat your asses.
Curious. Does it count if you finish the rhyme for us?
As long as it flows in a poetic chorus.
Cool beans, Peggy Jean.
Sweet. Meat.
And that's where we'll stop since this is a 5-pager. Thank you all for reading. You all did a very good job. We're going to start with feedback now. Everyone remember to keep your mics muted when you're not speaking. Believe feedback we're looking for here, just general. So anything that comes to mind. Let me see if I can get someone, a veteran, so to speak. Zach, would you want to start us off?
Yeah, go on, then I'll start. The dialogue seems a little heavy for my liking. I was scrolling down. There's probably a bit much. It's probably just a bit much dialogue. I don't really know what's going on. It feels like somebody's starting an adventure. It's like playtime, but the action lines. We need a little bit of prepping up. They need to spot. Well, I don't think it hit all the barriers, hit all the little targets for myself. But that's mainly just the first 2 pages already. Once we get into Samuel, Samara, but even then, I understand the concept of the Sam's Club, but it might get a little bit confusing because they all start with Sam, just as a person who's reading back and forth and trying to figure out which character is who. When we're doing it on table reads, it's very easy because everybody has different voices. One thing I would suggest is just to go back onto your action lines. Obviously, make sure everything is an active voice. Some of the things that were written down were passive voices, but again, make it a little bit tighter. Cut back the dialogue a little bit, and give us a bit of sparkle. I like sparkle, especially with this kind of genre. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Zach. See, Stacy, Shia, would you be comfortable giving feedback? I don't think we've had you here before. Roman, would you want to give feedback? Radio guy, did you have any feedback for the script?
Well, the rhyming was wonderful, amazing as anything, but the transition from Sam's Club to the portal is still dizzying. Could be drawn out. Yeah, okay, I was writing this thing because I remember somebody rhymed it last time, but dang it, I didn't have enough time. But anyways, I guess it could the transition from Sam's Club to the portal. I think it might do good to give him a little bit more time in Sam's Club. I do think, from what I remember, it's a little bit better. Same thing with him speaking to himself. Where I don't know, I can't exactly tell why. It does strangely make a little bit more sense, which is cool and yeah, I mean, you know, I still really like the concept of, you know, the whole, like, you know, everyone's name is Sam, but I guess you could have because, like, I mean, you know, like how in Ed, Edd and Eddy, like they had like Ed, which is, you know, just single, and then double D, and then Eddy. I do think that in terms of like the script itself, I think at some point it might be helpful for the reader if you actually do give them like those sort of nicknames. Like maybe you actually do call Samuel Mule. Maybe that doesn't actually happen in the thing, but that might help like differentiate them in the script. But other than that, really cool, really sick. Something click. I don't know.
Thank you, radio guy. See Pollock unmute you. Do you have any feedback, Pollock? All right, Paul, did you have any feedback?
Yeah. I thought this was a pretty funny script, and I'm sure that's what you're going for. I don't know who wrote this, but I'm sure that's what whoever wrote this is going for. So, mission accomplished, in my opinion. I especially liked Paula's dialogue towards the end of what we read. Yeah, just I do agree that some of the dialogue can be shortened. Especially I don't mind having Paula talk like that, because what, isn't she from like a different dimension? So her talking differently is fine in my opinion, but everyone talking like that sort of feels weird. Um so yeah, maybe tightening up some of the dialogue would, I guess, help for immersion purposes. But as it stands, I think it's still an enjoyable read. So, you know, do your thing.
Thanks, Paul. Nerdy Boy Crafter, any feedback?
Yeah, I was kind of joking a little bit because, like, originally with the opening dialogue, with I don't remember who it was, like, it was one of the characters. He was talking to himself. The way he was talking to himself, it kind of felt like it didn't feel like a teenager talking. When my impression I got off it was that my impression was this is someone who's in their 20s or 30s, or someone who's like not a teenager. Because, you know, I, as someone who was a high school student, it's like I've never heard kids talk like that. I don't even talk like that myself, and I'm still a teenager. So maybe kind of make it feel more like informal. And I noticed he talks like, I kind of wish though, I like the part where he talks to himself about the comic and like towards when he goes in Sam's Club or whatever. But I kind of prefer if he wasn't talking so much in the opening. Like if we just see him kind of do his own thing at first, and then we just sort of hear him from like time to time talk to himself. It's not like constantly talking to himself, because I think because if we see him doing his own thing, like reading the book, and it's just like casually like, oh, well, that's an interesting thing. And it's like, I don't like this because, you know, after the third read, like it kind of tells its age from this book, something like that. You know, like I like those parts, but, you know, towards the opening, he kept on talking to himself. So I'm kind of repeating myself going full circle, but you guys know what I mean, right? But that's kind of my 2 cents on it. But another thing was that this script was hilarious. I couldn't help but laugh and smile. So it's like, if it was whoever was writing it, they were going for comedy. They got my sense of humor a little bit. It felt very witty, very goofy, a little bit. So I really enjoyed that. Pretty funny. That's my 2 cents. So.
Thanks, Nerdy Boy Crafter. Organa, did you have any feedback?
I think that there's a couple typos which, like something, when you introduce a character, you have to capitalize it. I know that's a rule, and it just makes it look better, so I would look to do that first. I mean, I don't really have anything that others haven't said. It's kind of like, okay, we're thrown into this world. I do think like Samuel's just kind of like talking to himself, or is this supposed to be voiceover? Because even though I don't know, it is MCR. Is that My Chemical Romance? I don't know. Like I don't usually talk to myself in the mall, or a Sam's Club, but maybe that's just his character, and he does seem like an edgelord. So if that's his character, then it works, I guess. So yeah.
Thank you, Morgana. Loka V. Any feedback? Are you saying anything?
Oh, Toby, sorry, I was muted
There you are.
from my headphones. Yeah, hello. So I really like the concept of the script. I like the fact that it plays on, there being 4 Sams, and it seems like just an overall fun concept. I do have to echo to a certain degree what others have said in terms of the dialogue, especially at the beginning. And this is Samuel kind of like talking to himself. And just from an overall kind of writing and screenwriting perspective, the fact that we're hit with what is basically an exposition dump on the first page is not really ideal. Normally, when you serve information that is vital to your audience understanding the world in which your story is set, you would try to do that in an elegant way, not particularly in sort of like the main character speaking to himself on the first page. It seems like there would be better ways in which to deliver that information without it coming across as like, in no kind of like normal situations would someone just speak to themselves in that particular way, unless we're taking it a little bit to the extreme, which could particularly maybe play into the whole feel of the script. But other than that, yeah, I feel like with dialogue, especially on the first page, it can come across as a bit heavy. So I think there may be a little bit of room for kind of like, getting that across in a more elegant manner. But other than that, yeah, just a few typos here and there, a few grammatical kind of like stuff that can be obviously tied up in a final draft. And I think there may be a need for just more kind of like making all the 4 Sams kind of stand apart a bit more, being able to identify which one is which, if that makes sense. And I do appreciate that. Obviously, we them differently. We've got Samara, we've got Samuel, we've got Samantha, we've got Samson. But just maybe, even if you were to say the redhead or the short one or anything of the sort, that may be a bit on the nose, but that gets the point across, I feel. But yeah, other than that, I really like the concept. So I think there's a good foundation here to build upon.
Thanks, Lukavito. Jadea, you wrote something up here. Did you want me to read? Or did you want to talk?
I will talk because I like doing that. So basically what I said was I enjoyed it. It reminds me of The Last Kids on Earth and the Magic Treehouse. If you've seen The Last Kids on Earth, or if you haven't seen it, I think you should watch it because the main character is very similar to Samuel. And I think that you could benefit from giving it a watch, at least the first episode or something, because he does talk to the audience a lot. And this does give me the impression of an animated series. But it doesn't have to be. It feels more like a kid's show. So I would leave out the erotic reference to the manga because it does really feel like it should be for children. In any case, it's just the feel of it, basically. I don't know how licensing works, so I don't want to say much about that. And I know this whole premise hinges on the club being named, the store being named the Sam's Club. But you could also just, I don't know, because this feels like these kids, why are they, is this an abandoned Sam's Club? I ask a question, but I don't expect an answer right now. It just feels like maybe these kids should have a different hangout spot that also has the name Sam something or whatever. It just feels very out of place to hang out in like a real world store when this feels very not real world at all. And Tintin, you could just replace that with like anything and be like, oh, out of date. What's super out of date? Oopsie, racist jokes. To differentiate the characters in a script, I guess others probably said this already, which is to just name them by their nicknames. And as Grace said, you could have them be their Sam names at first, and then like once they are referred to as their nicknames, the names change. And the dialogue itself sounded a little awkward. It feels like you're not going full into the cartoonish dialogue and the cool kid speak of just like random shit they say, like Smokey Mary and all this stuff. I want to see more of that. And like I want to see their personalities really shine through. What are all their weird catchphrases like jinkies, zoinks, all this shit? Just go full Adventure Time with the random made up sayings and whatnot. So I would also like to see more of their personality shine through with all the Sams, all the characters, because as of now it feels like they are the same character, and they're all just kind of reacting to Samuel. So Samuel's the main character, but this is about all of them because like they're in the title. This is the entire premise. I would like to see more of the other characters. So instead of having Samuel monologue, which I honestly think is fine, him monologuing is not a problem to me, and I think he talks fine. But it should be shortened. Like maybe as he parkours across the place, he meets up with his friends, talks to them, and they like run along with him or whatever, or like they travel in their own way, like Samantha's on a bike being like, you're gonna get hurt, like, or something like that. Just like something for them to do and for them to say instead of just reacting to Samuel. Or whatever. It just feels like they don't really have any agency as of right now. I'm gonna talk for a fucking while now. So basically just shorten Sam's monologue, play into his edgy persona of like, I'm the cool kid even though I'm probably a fucking goober. And formatting tips. It's time for that section of the feedback. You did not name the ages of the characters, and I think that even if the interior is like the interior, you still need to name if it is day or night, because I don't know, it seems proper. Or you don't. I'm not sure, but it does look off. And you need to capitalize the names of a character when they are first introduced, as well as put their age and like maybe something about their looks, which I wouldn't recommend putting their hair color or eye color or anything like that. I would recommend sort of like giving a feel for like what their personalities are in a way that's like more appearance based. Just like he looks like a little businessman kind of deal, something like that. Or just like your typical edgy teen. Something. Typical rebel. So that's what I would recommend. For everything else, I think your action lines are majority fine. Maybe some awkward wording here and there that could be fixed. I think that they are a good length. You know how to make them a good length, and that's like pretty good. And yeah, for Paula, like I assume that she's bad at sort of rhyming, because that's just how her dialogue reads to me. So I enjoy that. Just make her like the worst at rhyming or something. Or like, I feel like you could come up with more clever rhymes if she's supposed to be good at it, Like, I think you should read things with rhymes in it, like Sakura from My Little Pony. Take a look at her. She rhymes all the time. She speaks in riddles, whatever. Like, try watching clips of Sakura, basically. I'm referencing all these fucking cartoons, and I may as well write them down and list the reason why you should, like, take a look at their clips or something. That's essentially all I have to say at the moment. If I have more, I will ask for you to come back to me, or I will type it in the chat. But I'm done. Thank you. I love you. Bye.
Thanks, Dea. Joel, did you have any feedback?
I don't think so. I mean, on the most part, you'd recommend that you don't that you don't have characters have similar names, because as we saw in table reads, it can get confusing. But this is part of a joke, so I guess, you can make an exception for that. I don't really have a lot of other feedback that other people haven't already said. But yeah. Thanks for submitting.
Thanks, Joel. Kraken, did you have any feedback?
Sure. Yeah, just a couple of quick things. Talking about the dialogue, a lot of people have talked about the dialogue at the beginning of the monologue, especially. I think it works for me if it's animation, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be animation or if it's supposed to be live action. But I could see like an animated character kind of pontificating a little bit more than a real life person, or if it was voiceover, even more so if it's voiceover, because then you would assume maybe there was some plan behind it rather than someone just speaking extemporaneously, which this dialogue doesn't sound like to me. Then people have mentioned character differentiation. I think one thing that could help with that is maybe drawing out the pacing of the story a little bit. We get the entire place and the adventure portal and all 4 characters in a really short amount of time, and I think that's just a lot happening at once. And since it's a pilot for a series, maybe Samuel and Samara could go on adventure first. Maybe just have 2 characters go, and then the other characters kind of come in later, or something like that. Like maybe it doesn't have to all happen at once. Or you could even draw out the initial kind of monologue as Samuel's moving around the Sam's Club. He could start by walking down the empty aisles or looking up to the ceiling. They kind of like break up some of those lines so that it just helps us familiarize your audience with where the story is taking place, especially because the Sam's Club is going to be a repeating location based on what we've seen so far. And then the other thing is that Samuel lights the book on fire with a lighter, but he had stashed the lighter with his pipe up in his hiding place. So he needs to not stash his lighter if he's going to light it on fire. That's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Kraken. Did you have any feedback?
Yeah. I read the script before in table reads. It was really fun just hearing everyone rhyme. That's what I really like about it. I think that's what stands out. But I think the structure of the inciting incident needs to be written more importantly, I guess, because it kind of just like, it's cute, the idea of starting off, breaking the 4th wall, and then just jumping straight into the adventure. And the beginning with the meta monologue is very, it kind of reminds me of Deadpool. Kind of reminds me of the movie The Mask. It's very silly. It doesn't take itself seriously, and that's fun. But I think structurally, you can build more story there at the beginning. I think someone mentioned, you're just throwing in these other characters like, yeah, this is our main character, Sam. But then there's other characters like Samson and Mantha. We just throw them. Yeah, they're just part of the characters. They're just part of the cast. All right, let's go adventure, and that can be fun too. But I feel like it needs more. You gotta love Pepper Grinder Hat. That's really creative. And like someone mentioned before, also Ed and Eddie, it does have that type of feeling. The story does have that type of feeling. Like people have mentioned, it feels animated, and it's very fun and rambunctious. Like anything can really happen here. And you also have the rhymes carrying you. But yeah, it does need tone. It needs, if you want to, it's a silly show. It's a silly script, and that's fun. But to be taken a bit more seriously, like I said, structurally, it needs a stronger inciting incident. You got to build to that portal. And yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you, Heated. Fox, did you have any feedback? Right, Evil Michael, what about you?
Yes, I love this for a bunch of reasons. So I'll start with some things that have already been mentioned. Yes, uh, first time character speaks, they're capitalized, and there is actually, according to scriptwriter's Bible, a workaround if you're going to have like Ed, Ed, and Eddie or something like that. Whatever name they're going to be called, whatever nickname, that's the one. That's the first one you type, and you stay with it. Then you do the explanation. So your name is Samuel, so we'll call you Mule. That's the workaround. That one technical thing, you don't type a numeral four. Type out the word FOUR. Okay, now I like this for a lot of reasons. Also, yes, in your log lines, you need to include day or night or time. Okay, yeah, I love this for a lot of stuff. I like when scripts make me look up words. I had to look up mundanity, even though I was able to figure it out. But pepper grinder hat, never heard of that. I love stand-up comedians and scripts and stories that make me go pause and go Google up the definition of a word. So more of that. I appreciate sophisticated talking teens. Do not dumb down your teenagers. I work with teenagers in an academic setting, and they have two lives. They have their street lingo, they have their lingo at home, which is very polite, and then they have their academic lingo. And yes, it's called code switching. So I love sophisticated teens. Go ahead and put those big words. People have been mentioning Ed, Ed, and Eddie throughout. If you ever read that script or really actually watch that show, that script is written on almost college level. They use college level vocabulary. Yeah, Ed, well, he didn't alienate himself from the majority of the group consensus. What? So the Canadians are really good with that. Ed, Ed, and Eddie is a good example, and the whole concept of everybody named Sam. So I appreciate sophisticated teams. I appreciated that you didn't waste time starting this adventure. 6 pages in, and whoop, we're already in the portal. Yeah, he's a curious teen. That's what stupid curious teens do. What's this button? Don't push that button. This button, and now you're in the portal. I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, I love the speed at which they meet and get this thing going, and they're off to an adventure. Yeah, it feels animated. It could also work live action. And I also like the fact that somebody mentioned, like the math, where it doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, good. Go ahead and be as silly as you want. Make those teams as sophisticated as you want. Don't dumb down your team. I really resent writers who dumb down their teams. I'm gonna throw in another animation, another Canadian called The Hollow. You've got a bunch of intelligent teens who speak intelligently, but developmentally, they act and do and react like teenagers, even though verbally they have the sophistication of almost adults. So I like this for a lot of reasons. I grew up on 1010. I'm as old as Sputnik. And all the baby boomers in the room will remember this. Urgent Adventures of 1010. It used to be, 1010 used to be a live animated feature, and that's how it always started off. You can get away with referencing it as long as you don't show its images. If you just talk about it, you won't have any legal problems. And what else? You mentioned, Sam's Club. If you just talk about it, I don't know. If you're going to set it in Sam's Club, you might want to check with your lawyer about that. But I like this for a lot of good reasons. Please do not dumb down your teenagers. And also, as they're going on these adventures, don't surround them with stupid grown-ups. That's a sure sign that writers don't respect teenagers is when they surround them with stupid grown-ups like John Hughes. So I'm really enjoying this. It can go live action or animated. So good job. And technically,
Thank you, Evil Michael. Dan M., do you have any feedback?
Hey, Yeah, I'm new guy. I have no background in writing or reading scripts, so I can offer no technical help. But as an audience member, I thought it was great. It was funny. I enjoyed it, and yeah, great job.
Thank you, Dan M. Dan, did you have any feedback?
Sure thing. I found the dialogue a little bit, the opening monologue was a little bit, definitely not the direction I think it was going to go. I found it kind of like he says, honestly, it started out sounding like a villain speech, like some sort of, I'm going to burn down this city. Like this world is bad and we need to burn down and go back to nature, which was very off-putting because this is supposed to be our protagonist. Now, I'm okay with him having a little bit of a sophisticated way of speaking, but it feels like he's mostly just speaking to the audience instead of organically to himself. And I know that doesn't sound right, but he's saying, man, I sure do love being bisexual. That doesn't sound like that sounds like a weird, almost like just he's like saying, by the way, I'm not into, either way, I go both ways or something. It just doesn't sound like he's saying it for any other reason than to look directly at the audience and tell us about himself instead of showing us that he's into this sort of stuff. Or maybe have it show up later when they're jumping through wacky shenanigans and he finds himself attracted to both kinds of people. It would probably it would be more organic, I guess. I just found it kind of off-putting. A lot of this is. In fact, I thought that Sam wasn't even in the same room as Samara when she entered. I do think that some mini slugs would help make everything, especially in this opening scene, since when Samara enters, because you're jumping between on top of the bookshelves and to the front door. So I thought he was in a different room of the Sam's Club instead of just on the shelf, because he's like, where is this person? The way he was talking, I don't know. It just needs some tightening up, and everybody is a little verbose and a little bit to tell the audience-y. Make the characters talk to each other instead of us more, because I feel like that's what they're doing, is that they're talking to me, and that's all.
Thank you, Dan. Support Zane. Do you have any feedback?
I'm still trying to kind of get my thoughts together. I don't really have that much to add. I'm still learning how to make scripts myself, so I don't know a whole lot about this. But I will say, when I first saw when I first saw the description for this, when we were originally gonna read this for Table Reads, I was really excited. Something about it just really drew me in. It just had some really good vibes, very interesting. And I do really like Samuel's character. He's very interesting. I have a lot of thoughts about him. I do think he talks just a teensy bit too much. And I don't really feel that attached to the other characters yet. I do really think this could very much benefit from being animated. You could do a lot of cute things with it, and Samuel just really reminds me of a character who takes up the animation budget, like the one guy from DuckTales. I can't remember his name. I think it was Dewey. But he's just a very expressive character. I really like that. I kind of feel a little bit iffy on the part where they discover the secret room, because when we were reading that, at first my brain didn't even process it was a secret room. I had to go back and like see that. So I thought it was just a random like object that they stumbled upon in a corner or something. It feels a little bit rushed, but I do like how they were just like, "Hey, what's this button do?" Oopsies. I thought that was pretty well done. Um, that's all I can think of at the moment.
Thank you, Support Zane. Did anyone else have any additional feedback before we move on? I think we got through everyone who had feedback here. Well, thank you, Mutant Llama, for sharing. Hope some of the feedback helps. Looking forward to any more submissions you have. And thank you for sharing your script. Move on to our next script now. This is Look at Those Cavemen Go by Heated123. This is a thriller short. The logline is 2 hitmen. One wants a new beginning, another wants his love back. Feedback we're looking for: how was the action and description? What moment or line stood out for you? Did you cry? Content warning for violence and curse words. Did you have anything to add before we started, Heated?
Yeah, if we could just read page 6 also. It's just it's a short story. So, and it's the ending. If we could just read page 6, I'll give 10 coins if possible. If we could just do that.
All right, yeah. Usually just like do it anyway if there's like a good stopping point on page 6, so that works. And yeah, let's see about casting here. Looking through this, I will have a special, not a condition, but just like asking people, does anyone happen to know the song Life on Mars by David Bowie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Hang on, who were those?
Me, for one.
Ghana and somebody else.
Me.
I can't see the entire list.
Oh, Zach. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Dang, I might have to make you fight to the death. Did one of you want to voice Carlo? And maybe, depending on how much either of you wants a part.
Carlos sounds like a cool name. Oh,
Yeah.
Carlos Sing or something?
Yeah.
Oh god. Wait, how much singing?
Just hang on. I think like a short, like a little stanza. I think. I don't think you actually have to sing it well. So, Heated, if you have any input on this, let me know. But
yeah, if whoever's reading for Carlo, I guess you gotta know how to sing and you gotta know how to cry. And that's my direction for that.
Yeah.
Morgana can cry. I'm gonna cry.
I cry all the time, so I'm used to that.
I'm up for crying challenge.
Yeah. Zach, are you okay with Morgana having Carlo then?
Naturally, that's all.
Well, I'll take Mark.
Oh, okay, that sounds
I don't
good.
know. I saw the
Sure,
white
cute
cup.
girl in shirt. Can I be a cute girl?
Yeah, hang on. We'll just press forward.
Whatever. I'll wing that part.
There's no cute girl. Never mind.
Dang. Zach, you can have Mark, Morgana, Carlo.
Wait, there's a short woman.
Wait, oh, okay.
I'm a
I was
short
about
woman.
to say, there's no cute girl, but there's a short woman. That seems close enough.
Close enough.
But yeah, that was. Thank you, Jadea. Let's see. And the brown man. Anyone for the brown man?
Sure.
Oh, dang it.
Well, I need to come up with a system for when two people want a part.
Well, we did rock paper scissors. Romance
we did
so-
do that.
Yeah, we did do that. And they just
We
typed
could
out
always
their
fight to the
responses.
death in an
Yeah.
arena.
Yeah, it was really
Here,
fun. It was
Dan,
very
first. I'm
fun.
going to dwell too much on this, but I'll come up with a.
Next time, rock, paper, scissors, I tell you. It was quick.
How have we played rock, paper, scissors?
Okay, so basically what happened was that I just went 3, 2, 1. They typed in their responses first, and then I was like 3, 2, 1. Then they sent it at the same time. That was it.
We could, yeah. Well, at some point in the future, probably. Radio guy, would you by chance want direction instead?
I can do direction. It's not nondescript character name, but I'll do it. I'll take one for the team and do it.
You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you really did want a part.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Thank you, radio guy. There's our cast list then. And yeah, everybody look at that stream, or else download the Look at Those Cavemen Go from the Table Reads info channel. And go ahead when you're ready, radio guy.
Okay. Interior, New York, pub. Late night. Super, 1976. Puppy Love by Paul Anka plays on the jukebox. Carlo, 20, is a strong, dark-haired boy with a big nose, wipes his eyes as he reads from an onion skin paper letter.
I tried with you, Carlo. You know I tried, but I have to move on. And like you said, you want me to move on to something better. That's what's happening. I'm grateful for our time, and I've honestly grown from it. But it's time to go.
Carlo breaks down in tears at the table in the corner. His partner in crime, Mark, 30s, a built blondie in a black turtleneck, looks up at the spectators. He shakes Carlo up.
Hey, come on. No crying in the Luna bar. Don't let the wop see you.
Carlo gets it together and wipes his wet face. He takes a sip of his water and then a chug of his Godfather.
I'm never gonna find a girl like her again, Mark. My chest can't take it. I'm forever fucked. Fuck.
Mark grabs the glass of water and splashes it all over Carlo. Carlo snaps out of it and Mark pats his back.
Enough with the drinks. Let's go.
Motel, bedroom, later. Carlo snores in deep sleep with no shoes on. Mark lays out Mark lays out his and Carlo's clothes out. He takes a swig of a mini bar bottle of Tanqueray gin and looks up and loads up the magazine up the magazine and Carlo's Browning P35 handgun. He hums a tune. Motel, bedroom, morning. Mark combs his hair as Carlo winds in bed with a hangover. French toast and sausages weighed on a TV tray.
Drink the coffee, Carlo. You got hips today. The daycare worker opens up at 7. Get up.
So let's just go when she clocks out, Mark. Not when she opens up. God damn it, I'm up already.
Interior, car, later. Carlo drives as Mark reads his copy of Pride and Prejudice. The radio plays I Saw the Light by Todd Rundgren.
Till I saw the light in your eyes, in your eyes, in your eyes. Jeez, she loved this song. Damn her.
Ooh. Interior, car. Exterior, upscale daycare. Later. Mark snoozes with his book as a sleep mask. Carlo listens to the news on low volume when a short woman exits the daycare. Wow.
Mark, wake up! Wake up! She's going out for lunch.
Mark wakes up to Carlo pointing at the short woman with an angry strut and 2 heavy bags on her. Mark wipes the sleep out of his eyes and takes a sip of his coffee. He gags.
Yeah, roll down the window when you fart.
Exterior, short woman's home. Later, the short woman struts up the stairs to her door. She gets inside through the first door when she hears somebody say,
Miss Lombardo, I think this belongs to you. It was delivered to me.
The journals, yes. Just bring it inside the foyer, please. Thanks.
The short woman enters into the apartment as Mark sets the box down and pulls out his P35. He aims it at the back of her head. Bang, bang. He picks up the box and closes the door behind her. Car, continuous. Mark, wait, did she die? Okay,
Yeah.
A car, continuous. Mark enters passenger, and Carlo drives off as getaway. Interior, car, later. As Carlo drives, Mark As Carlo drives, Mark smokes a cigarette and wipes his gun. Life on Mars by David Bowie, hell yeah, plays. The guys nod to the music. Carlo sings like he's getting something off his chest.
Sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show, oh, oh. Take.
Hell yeah. Interior diner, later. Mark and Carlo eat BLTs, sharing a side of fries.
You didn't tell me we were double hitting today, liar.
I did, Carlo. Don't eat all the fries. We'll be good for 4 months after this with no pressure of income. Then we can head to Miami for new connection.
Carlo takes a bite of his
Easy.
BLT. He nods along to the idea. Exterior, tequila bar, patio section, later. A Spanish ballad like El Triste by Jose Jose plays. The guys sit with water and margaritas between them. Mark watches a brown man in a white suit entertain a table. Oh, yeah, there we go. Carlo picks up the tortilla chips and wipes his teary eyes.
Yeah, man. This girl really left me for a white guy. A white guy.
You'll forget about her when we hit Miami. Trust me. New scenery, new tale. You'll be a new man.
Carlo goes for a sip of his margarita, but Mark stops him.
Look, I'll take care of this one, but you have to be good to drive. I'll be quick. Be ready.
Carlo sniffles and nods. They see the brown man leave his table in good energy.
No
Mark gets up and follows him.
averte después. Oh, Stephanie. Check, por favor.
Interior, bathroom, continuous. The brown man takes a mean piss at the urinal. Mark enters. He checks if the bathroom is empty and locks the door.
I quiero saborear mi dolor. I love that song.
Mark politely smiles and walks toward the stall behind the brown man. The brown man sees the reflection of the urinal lever. Mark pulls out his gun and aims. Bam! The man punches the gun from Mark's hold. Bang! The gun hits the floor. Mark grabs the brown man and slams him against the urinal. The man pisses on Mark's leg. Jeez, dude. The urinal flushes. They drop to the floor and grapple each other. Mark reaches for the gun. The brown man reaches into his jacket. Screw it! Oh, wait. Frick. Oh, damn it! I thought that was a skirt. I thought that was like, the car is like going like skirt, but no. Okay, it's snicked.
You want me to take your radio guy?
It's snicked. I'll try. I'll continue to try to get it. Okay, snicked. The brown man whips out a switchblade and stabs Mark in the thigh. Mark grunts. Piss and blood flow. The brown man dives for the kill the stab to the heart. Mark holds it back, but the man knees Mark in the crotch. The blade enters Mark's chest. Their eyes meet. Mark, in rage, jams his thumbs into the brown man's eyes. The man jumps off Mark and rolls onto the floor, screaming in pain. Mark stands up and spits up blood. He walks over to his gun. When Mark looks in a mirror and sees the switchblade sticking out of his chest as blood spills out of from his mouth, he bends over, picks up the gun, and grips his chest. Mark drops to the ground as the brown man squirms. Interior, exterior, car, parking lot. Hey Jude by the Beatles, hell yeah, plays on the radio. Carlo, with a gun in hand, sings along anxiously as he sees people rushing out of the restaurant.
Better, better, better. Fuck.
Carlo exits the car as the song plays over the scene. Interior, restaurant, continuous. Carlo walks in to find the brown man being helped by the staff. He sneaks by and heads for the bathroom and sees Mark on the floor, dead, eyes open.
No. Mark!
Carlo shakes Mark's limp body. No response. Carlo doesn't know what to do. Carlo whimpers, and he shakes Mark again.
Wake up, Mark. Please. Please. Don't leave me, Mark. I need you. Please don't leave me. Please. I love...
Carlo holds Mark into his arms and cries, letting out a pang of sorrow. He clasps his hand.
Don't let his partner get away.
Heartbroken. Carlo hears this and grits his teeth. He pulls out his gun. He walks out and aims at a gang of men. Bang, 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 bang. Screams are heard and people scatter. Carlo doesn't even know if he shot henchmen or waiting staff. He rampages through. When he spots the brown man in a blood-piss-stained white suit, stumbling away, Mark aims his gun. He wipes his eyes. Bang! Blackout. Fade in. Interior, car. Later. In silence, Carlos speeds through traffic with puffy pink eyes. His focus stares straight on the road, his face in a grimace. Cop car, lights flash behind him. Carlo keeps driving.
Excellent job reading, everyone. And thank you, Heated, for sharing. Since I'm better at giving thoughts on shorts just because I don't have other context to consider, it's all right there for me. This, like you warned us, this is incredibly sad. Something about the juxtaposition between Carlo and Mark just broing out. Mark comforting Carlo over the girl or Stephanie, and like them sharing a BLT while at the same time they are hitmen, and Mark ends up dying, and that very well might have been the only friend Carlo had, and it's just so sad to see someone suffering from a broken heart over puppy love as the titular song, and then end up in such a serious, terrible situation. It's just the innocence against the horror of the entire situation. So I do think it hit that emotional chord. Let's see. If we could start from the top of the list this time, the feedback we're looking for. How was the action and description? What moment or line stood out for you? And did you cry? Dan, would you like to start?
I would, and I didn't cry. Since there's going to be a lot to say, I suppose I'll focus on one area that I think should have probably been given a little bit more. And I think for the sake of it, probably shouldn't give, well, I think you should have given the brown man a name, like a real name, just so he feels more humanized, even though he's a bad person and we don't actually know his name. But if he's going to be appearing a lot more throughout this story in later pages, because he's clearly a major villain, he should probably have a name. I didn't cry because, I don't know, I don't cry very well. But, yeah, give him a name, and it's not really so sad as much as it is kind of gory. Like, it kind of looks like it's a little gross out with all the blood and piss going all over the place. And, I don't know, now we're going to show somebody's kicked scrote, too. I don't know. It's more gross out than it was, like, make me sad and cry. I mean, yeah, the partner dying was emotional, but I'm not sure what it is that I felt like there was some sort of missing. Not bad. Now let someone. I'm done. There's a lot of people who've got to get feedback, so yeah.
Thank you, Dan. Dan M., did you have any feedback?
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty gritty. I mean, it felt Tarantino-esque, right? And its realness and grittiness. I would have enjoyed more piss. No, I'm kidding. But no, I honestly, it was enjoyable. So the action scenes I thought were great. So well done.
You, Dan M. Evil Michael, any feedback?
Yeah. What's the author's name of this? Somebody remind me. Who wrote this?
This was Heated. 1, 2, 3.
Heated, you bad boy, you. You're really doing Reservoir Dogs. Oh, you bad boy. So, yeah, and you know what? And guess what? It worked. If you're going to steal from the best. This has Quentin Tarantino all over it. Got a scene. Oh yeah, they're eating BLTs, but sharing a preschool teacher. Now that's a big WTF moment. So here's what I love about this. You created a big WTF moment. What kind of life or what kind of skullduggery for this preschool teacher, of all people to hit, all people in the world to hit? You hit a preschool teacher and you did it like, it's a routine operation. A preschool teacher. She teaches kids who aren't in kindergarten yet. What a lovely lady. She's obviously got a history. So by doing that, you created the mystery. I want to know, WTF was this preschool teacher into? Yeah, I love this mean violence. And then what happens in Reservoir Dogs? We have the scene in the restaurant where Steve Buscemi doesn't want to tip, and Harvey Keitel tells him, you better tip because waitressing is all this stuff. And then we get Lil Green Bag, and then you cut, and there's Tim Roth screaming in the back of the car, oh, I'm gonna die! Yeah, so, yeah, it has Reservoir Dogs all over it. Good for you. You're gonna steal from the best. I steal. I don't apologize for it. I like your dialogue, your log lines. Mean piss, opposed to a polite piss. Mean piss. And my writing teacher, when I did that, he said, "Oh, very Shane Gray of you." And I called the news reporters media maggots. So yeah, it said open the Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, if you're going to steal, good. Steal from the best. You did all the things. You set it up, and then you pulled the rug out from under the viewer. They're chums, having these fries, and then one guy dies. I'm glad he died. I hope it was painful. I hope his friend stays lonely and miserable for the rest of his life because you're a hitman. This is senseless, evil, rotten, no good, no reason to even exist. I hope they get the death penalty if any of them live. And I hope they do it with a loose rope. Don't give them a fast electrocution. Hang them with a loose rope. This is good. I love this stuff. So yeah, and you did it all in 6 pages. 6 pages. Applause. Very good. Heated. 1, 2, 3. You bad boy, you.
Thank you, Eva Michael. Fox, did you have any feedback? All right, Jay Kraken, did you have any feedback?
Yes, but I can't deliver it with the zazz of Evil Michael.
None of us can match that. Just make peace with it.
All right, I did not cry, but that's probably because I'm a robot and not reflective of your script. I do love that you have specific music in it. I really like seeing that in a screenplay because I feel like if you know the music especially, it helps really set the scene. I like that you've done that. Like Gray mentioned at the beginning, it's really interesting to like humanize the hitman. And we knew from the log line that it was about hitmen, but it really would have been a surprise if we didn't, right? We just know it's these 2 guys. I mean, we see them with guns. We don't really know exactly what's happening, and all of a sudden they're killing a preschool teacher. So that really would have come out of nowhere. I also got the Tarantino vibe, although I was thinking of Vigga and Butch in Pulp Fiction, more of these scenes, kind of these short scenes of them like riding around in a car, sitting and enjoying meals. No, you weren't supposed to give me money because you already paid me last time. I was going to remind you at the end. And 2 things that stood out, especially for me, boy, the big nose, and then he's doing something already. Like it's like the whole log line with his introduction has him doing something. It's very, very visual. And calling Mark a built blondie is great. Giving us something that he's wearing helps us distinguish what's happening. Following him around scenes, I think it is really, really helpful. And yeah, I thought the fighting was good. I thought your action lines for the fight scene were good. I was a little bit confused at the very end of the fight of what was happening with the brown man. And he's got the Mark gets stabbed, And we've got like we have 3 lines of Mark without mentioning the brown man until what's he doing. So I would suggest maybe just adding something else a little bit earlier in one of those 3 action lines so we know what's happening with him in the bathroom. Yeah, liked it a lot. Thanks.
Thank you, Jay Kraken. Joel, any feedback?
I was just going to say what even Michael said in the chat just then. If you referencing these songs, you really shouldn't be doing that. Just because the directors will want their own songs, and even then, the songs that they probably won't get because they have to pay the rights to it, and all of these things. It's very unconventional, and really shouldn't be done. It shouldn't really be done once, let alone like I think we did 4 times in the end. Yes, you're a mad boy. But yeah, but other than that, I don't think I have anything else to add. It definitely kept me on my toes.
Thank you, Joel. Today, your feedback, if you care to elaborate.
Yes, I do. I do care. Mwah. Okay. Said a lot of words. Okay. So first, you wanted feedback on the action lines, but I'm going to first say what I thought about the story, which I really did enjoy the story because, like, it is super sad. I see the love between Carlo and Mark, whether it's platonic or romantic. I kind of felt like there was a romantic edge to it. Like, are you really worried about the girl? Wink. Anyway, I thought it was very sweet. Like, I love their friendship, basically. And the fight scene was super fucking gross, but also, like, like, shit like that gets sloppy, I suppose. Like, you decide to kill a man in a bathroom, you're gonna get pissed on. What do you expect? Anyway, for the action lines, I already named this throughout, like, my little fucking text thingy. So, I don't know if I want to say all that out loud. So, I think I just say read that if you will. I really enjoyed the dialogue for this because, like, I think it's done really well. And, like, I like the singing aspect, but it's just that, yeah, like Joel said, I don't know how you're gonna do this, but I do think it conveys his feelings. But for now, I'd say, like, you could replace it with something else, or you could just cut it out entirely. But I do like it, so I would rather you didn't. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I feel like I had something else to say. I swear I did, but I don't think I do. So I would just say read my little text thingy, if you can, if you will, please. And that is all. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, you mean me or he did?
He did read my little text thingy. I'll give him a little ping in there.
All right, thanks to Dea. Look at Vidu. Any feedback? See Merrickson. Any feedback?
Yeah, sorry, Gray. I missed the majority of it, but I did think that it was a bold choice to be having where there's not just blood flying around, but there's also urine. So that I think that's something that isn't really, I guess, mixed together when those elements are like in play. So yeah, it made for an interesting scene. I missed the majority of the rest, so I'll just pass on the rest.
Thanks, Merrickson. If you have more feedback, we always come back to you. Morgana, great singing. Very glad you are got that breath control. Do you have any feedback?
Thank you.
You can do an encore.
No, I retire. I read this before a while ago. I don't It seems like it's the same, but maybe I'm forgetting. It's been a while ago. I like this 1976 setting. I've always thought the 70s were kind of ignored. Like, people obsess over the 80s and 90s nowadays. But I've always enjoyed the 70s as an aesthetic more, especially New York in the late 70s, which this does. Kind of gritty, dirty, Son of Sam, punk, disco, Saturday Night Fever, Taxi Driver. All of my favorite movies are from that era in New York City. And honestly, this kind of reminded me a little bit about at least like the quasi love or quasi romance or bromance, whatever you want to call it, Midnight Cowboy. So much so that the guy dies, or maybe even what's that one? The first Scorsese De Niro one, Mean Streets. So I didn't really get Tarantino out of this. I got more a Scorsese feel because he actually did it in the 70s. I will agree that the gross out is not my favorite, but that's just subjective. Some people don't have a problem with it. And this was said the last time I remember. When it comes to music, yeah, like it's fun. I don't really care, honestly. Like for a script, like at this stage, it's fine. But there's zero chance. And like the Beatles, it's so hard to get their rights. I imagine David Bowie's probably pretty hard. But again, I don't really care at this stage. It's fine. Just like to set the tone, whatever. So I think it's a pretty good story here for a short 6-minute thing. So yeah.
Thanks, Morgana. Nerdy Boy Crafter, any feedback?
Yeah, I really liked this story. I thought it was very interesting. I'm glad that some people pointed out like the Tarantino, because I kind of got some Tarantino vibes from this script a little bit. Like, whoa, what's with the pacing? I didn't realize it was just short, so that's pretty cool too. I like the characters. I thought they were interesting. I love the action. I thought that was super intense. I remember like the part where like put his thumb through the guy's eyes. I literally shouted out loud like, oh, like especially with the gross out stuff. I don't mind gross out stuff, because I'm a horror fanatic, so that is to be expected in horror films with gore. So I didn't mind it. I thought it was interesting. One thing I have to say though is I agree with some people said about the music. When you're okay, but personally, if I was writing, I'd prefer to just put like generic music that still conveys the tone of what you're trying to say. So, for example, with the Beatles music and David Bowie, instead of like using like their songs or like their specific songs, I would mainly try to like use generic music, like put generic music, like say 60s, 70s music that sound like you just try to describe the tone of it. So that way it still comes across of like the music that you're still trying to convey, but without using someone's actual song. And then I don't know if nobody's really pointed this out yet, but when it came to describing the characters, I would try like not to describe 100% what they look like. And what I mean is like saying what kind of hair color or eye color they have, because that just would limit casting. The clothes is fine though, like their build, their clothes, that's like kind of fine. But I guess when it comes to like hair color, like saying, oh, they're blonde or they got dark brown hair or like stuff like that, it kind of limits casting. Because let's say you have someone who's got a big build, but they're blonde, or like they got red hair, right? They can't be casted as that character. So you're kind of limiting them with that kind of respect. But other than that, I really like the descriptions and stuff. And I think one other person said the 70s. I personally think the 70s are pretty interesting, so that was really cool. But yeah, that's my opinions on it.
Thank you, Nerdy Boy Crafter. Paul, any feedback?
Yeah, I only really have one thing to say that I feel like hasn't been quite touched on enough, except maybe slightly by Dan. But I do think that the violence sort of not okay. I think that the brutality of the situation sort of undercuts the emotion to an extent. Um, like I end up feeling a bit more grossed out than like that about it. I don't know how to express that, but that's how I feel. So that's what I'm gonna say. Um, but I did like a lot of the dialogue, which is good. I didn't feel like I want to stop reading this. So you're doing a good job, man.
Thank you, Paul. Radio guy, any feedback?
So, first, first off, great job, Morgana. Mr. Paul McCartney of the Beatles of freaking great writing. Number one, bad boy, bad, naughty boy, bad boy. Second, I do think that more time with the two could help with the emotion. Cause I guess like a little bit more time. I got I guess like there needs to be a little bit more time maybe with them. So I guess the short could be a little bit longer. Mainly because I guess we need a little bit more time of like connecting to these characters, and it is possible to have like a very emotional delivery with something like that in a short amount of time, sort of like like the beginning of Up, which is great and S tier and whatnot. But yeah, I mean I didn't cry, but it was sad as it is. But I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the film Bone Tomahawk. There it is possible to have like a very brutal death and also have it sad, because like in Bone Tomahawk, like this guy gets gets scalped, is force fed to eat his own scalp, then gets a wooden thing shoved in to get like his scalp further back down into his throat, and then like cut in half, like from the legs down. But like it's a very sad scene entirely because Kurt Russell's character is being like I'm sorry, Dan. But like the what makes it more sad than really disturbing is like, even though like it's a very brutal, painful death, and like you can hear him like screaming and crying and whatnot. What makes it so sad is like Kurt Russell is like like kind of talking him through it and be like, I got you. I'm right here, you know. And like he doesn't look away, so that like he to try to make him feel a little bit less scared. So maybe in that regard, it might actually be a little bit better if maybe if like he was with Mark, like if Carlo was actually like with Mark when he died. But that's just a suggestion. It is possible to have him like stumble across like the dead body and for it to work, sort of like when like when Ian Curtis killed himself at like the end of Control. That's not a spoiler, but and or yeah, to have him die in his arms or something. But yeah, in terms of like some very good, very nice things. So I really love the really mundane moments, like the part where they're just like eating BLTs. Like I did get a little bit of Tarantino in that, but also like it kind of reminded me of like those moments in like the Charlie Brown Christmas special where there's like this moment where like Charlie balls at like a wall or something, and it adds nothing to the story, but like I just really love that moment when they just stop and just like throw snowballs or like go skating and whatnot. It's like, you know, these little pauses and moments where they're just like really just, you know, chilling. They're, you know, they're being pals and whatnot. Great time. And it also kind of reminded me of like Lemon and Tangerine kind of thing, like, you know, from Bullet Train. Heated, I would probably make you the Frank Zappa of friggin' great writing. Great job. Hell yeah.
Thank you, Radio Guy. Roman, do you have any feedback? I think you said you'd be sort of in and out.
Yeah, I was sort of in and out for this one, so I only caught a little bit and don't have enough for feedback, but I will read it later.
That's okay. You can always type some in the chat later.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah. See, Stacy, Shia, do you have any feedback? Zach, did you have any feedback?
There we go. Yeah, just obviously everybody's kind of gone through what I wanted to say. Obviously, action lines really nice, description cool. One of the things that one thing that kind of didn't sit well with me. I'm not sure why we did it. Obviously, we have two deaths. We have the short woman and the brown man. Obviously, we don't spend. I would like to see a bit more time with Carlo and Mark just doing their thing. Mark trying to help Carlo with this breakup or being dumped, or I'm guessing he got dumped, rather than going straight into a hit. Because as the dialogue does allude, that these guys are professionals. They've done it before, they'll do it again. We kind of, I think, through the chat, through what people have said, they're hitmen. But maybe focus a bit more on Carlo and Mark's mental state through this this breakup of Carlo's, and have the brown man just be our only victim, or not victim, but you know what I mean. The only little bit for me, kind of that took it away from the story, is the milking of Carlo with Mark. These guys are trained killers, they're professionals, they know what a dead body looks like. They don't need to, Carlo doesn't really need to shake Mark's body, doesn't need to like touch him and stuff to know he's dead. That doesn't sit well. The rest of it's fine. You can cry there, you can hold him in his arms, blah blah blah. But the shaking was a bit too much for me. On that, I really liked it. I thought it was cool. As I said, maybe turn it into a feature, because there's a lot more you can explore with this one. That's all.
Thank you, Zach. Anyone else have any feedback to add before we move on? And Stacy, are you trying to talk? If so, I cannot hear you. Can you see where we're typing in the chat? I'm going to tag you. If you're on your computer and you see a red notification on the voice channel, click that and you'll be able to see, why did I ask that? You typed something in here earlier. But yeah, as it stands, we can't hear you. But if you figure it out, do let us know. Otherwise, you can type your feedback in the chat here. Oh, there you are. Typing something right now. But yeah, thank you, Heated, for sharing. And thank our readers for doing such a good job. Looking forward to more from you, Heated. Very glad to see the script.
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks to my narrator and my readers. Good job. And thanks for the feedback. And great singing.
Oh, very good. Have our last script then. This is Wretch by Paul, a horror fantasy TV pilot. The logline is, when vengeful spirits attack the town, a young witch must fight to protect it whilst avoiding the exposure of her coven. Feedback we're looking for: if this was the first chapter in a graphic novel/manga, would you feel inclined to continue reading? Content warning for violence and self-harm. Anything to add, Paul?
Yeah, I have I don't know. I have a lot more planned for this, so you'll have a good time, and yeah, that was I guess that's the main feedback I want, is just like, would you continue reading if this was something that was going to be continued?
Okay, great. Yeah, it will be nice to see something with a totally different end goal of making a graphic novel. But yeah, I think it'll suffice just because we can see how the story works out either way. Stacy Shia says of Heated Script, I believe. Yeah, I totally agree with the Bone Tomahawk Killer suspense vibes. Also, another thing, is there a way we can all stay in touch? I think the server is how we all stay in touch. Really. I don't think there's anything beyond that.
So I think you're new to Discord. You can use the other channels. I'm not sure if you're on a PC or a mobile, but you can see all the channels, screenwriting, chat, and so on.
I actually do have something to say. There is another character named Elijah at the very end, but it's not on the character list.
Oh, you told me. Sorry about that.
It's good.
There we go. Let's see. Jadea, you said you wanted to do direction for the script.
Yes.
And Zach was our auxiliary direction reader, so thank you, Zach. So if you feel like you want to take a break at any point, just hand it off to Zach. That leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 parts. Let's see. I'll try to take some. I can take Elijah. And does Elijah interact with Guard 2, Paul?
No, he only really interacts with Rachel.
Okay, great. I'll take those two for now. If we have people who really, really want parts, I will forfeit them both. But just because we often have a problem filling up the whole roster for a lot of characters, we'll have that for now. I'll go down the list here. If you want a part, just let me know and I will cast you. First is Guard 1. Anyone for Guard 1?
I guess that could be.
Thank you, Roman.
Guard 1.
Mm-hmm. Anyone for Rachel? Main character, I believe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. Anyone for Anne? Anne with an E.
Oh God, what a good show.
Oh yeah, I referenced it, but I don't know what it's about. But yeah, Heated, did you want Anne?
Oh, name of any is Anne and Davis.
Okay, anyone Benjamin Heated?
I'll take Benjamin.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Anyone for Anne?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Joel. Evil Michael, did you want a part?
Yes, I'd like any part.
You think you could be a creature?
Yes, drama queen that I am. You said
One
creature?
Creature. Gonna have to channel your creature.
Creature 2 has been changed to Press, so that's his name now.
Oh, how do you spell that?
Press, like press a button.
Oh.
Okay, so
okay, well, I guess we'll see.
Is the name of the part named creature?
Yeah, for the first one it is.
Okay, all right, creature. Yeah, give me one of the creatures.
Thank you, Michael. Man 1. Anyone for man 1? Well,
I'd like to be the. Oh, damn it.
well, no, we have 3 men to go around. So
If there's a man 1, there's a man 2. So
I can be
That's
the
all.
number 2 man in the world. then.
sweet. Thank you, radio guy. Fox, did you want to be man 1?
Yeah, I can be, yeah.
Thank you, Fox. That leaves us with man 3 and press. Any of those resonate with anyone here? Man 3, press. Second
Sure.
coming. Oh, thank you,
I
Morgana.
don't know if it resonates, but
Just spoke
I
to
can-
you. You saw it and you could not take it. All right, and then press. Who wants press? The paparazzi. Those vultures.
I can be one of them, you know?
All right.
I'll take it.
LGJ, would you like to be the press then? That should probably work.
Can I be a fucking creature? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think the press is a creature, so yeah.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Well, then there's our script. And everyone get that open, Wretch, or watch the stream. And yep, go ahead when you're ready, Jadea.
Yay, okay. Exterior, grass hill, day. A rope hangs from a sturdy branch. Slowly sways in the wind. The rope creaks and twists. Interior, jail, night. Rachel, 20, wallows in a dingy, ill-fitting robe. Contained within a stone cell. Moonlight from a small barred window seeps into her room. Into the room. Okay. A guard, 27, stands facing away from the cell in his tall black pilgrim's and long white stockings. Wields a flintlock musket. A fly buzzes into the room. Buzz, buzz. The guard watches it, wide-eyed.
Well, witch, I see you've called upon your familiar.
Please don't. It's just a fly.
He fills his barrel with gunpowder.
Please, sir, I'm...
Silence!
He pulls back the hammer, takes aim, and Anne, 15, leaps from the darkness, built like an athlete, sporting an oversized cloak, kicks the gun from his hand. Golden light streams up the braces on her. She punches him into the wall. Anne reaches into a small sack, blows a blue dust into his face. K.O.
Steady now, Rachel. He's only sleeping.
Who are you?
Anne loots the guard's keys, unlocks Rachel's cell.
Let's go.
I can't.
A shackle chains her to the wall.
Step back.
The arm braces glow bright orange. Anne pulls apart the chain. Anne and Rachel peek down the hall from the doorway to Rachel's cell. Guard 2, 30, runs out from the darkness. Anne and Rachel get back into the cell.
Help me! It's gonna kill.
A noose swoops down around his neck. Guard 2 grabs the rope. More ropes wrap around his limbs and pull him into the darkness. Anne peeks out, whining. Ropes creaking. Crack! Silence.
When I engage the beast, it's imperative that you flee.
Rachel watches Anne step out into the hallway. Anne draws a hilt from her belt. The creature's distorted voice croaks from the darkness. The creature is shrouded in darkness, unable to see.
Foolish child, step aside.
A blade of bright orange light erupts from the hilt.
I'll make it quick.
The light from Anne's arm braces flare up. A barrage of ropes shoot out from Anne. A barrage of ropes shoot out at Anne. Anne slashes them all, a flurry of swings and dodges. Anne rushes the creature. More and more ropes jut out at Anne, entangling her arms. She pulls away. It yanks her off her feet.
Rachel, run!
Wraps around Anne's legs. Anne's equipment illuminates the creature. A huge mass of ropes. A rope tightens around her wrist, causing her to drop her weapon. The creature fully envelops her. Guard 1 wakes up, sees the creature. Exterior, jail, moments later. He flees the building screaming. Interior jail, moments later.
Now he's gotten away, you wench.
Anne pulls at a rope around her neck. She reaches to the creature's glowing heart, a mere foot out of reach. Anne pulls herself closer, closer. Her arm braces glow deep red. The ropes around her constrict further. She lets go of the rope around her neck, shimmies through the ropes, eyes bulging. She grabs the beating heart and rips it in fucking half. A humanoid blue spirit erupts from the heart, shrieks. The ropes collapse around Anne. She rips the rope off her neck. Cough.
Apologies, child. I haven't a clue what's come over me.
Please, just get in. I can help you.
Anne stumbles to her feet, holds out an amulet. Exterior jail, moments later. Anne regroups with Rachel behind the prison.
Come on, we're going somewhere safe.
Exterior forest, later. Anne and Rachel stand at the bottom of a hill. Tall trees surround them.
Here we are.
Anne reaches into the dirt, lifts up the ground like a carpet, revealing a dark staircase.
Go on now.
Interior, underground base, Anne's room, moments later. A lantern hangs from the ceiling. Anne lights it. Clay covers the walls. Poorly built wooden furniture adorns the room.
You'll be staying with me until we find a place for you.
I want to thank you.
Don't mention it.
Benjamin's room, later. Cleanly carved wooden furniture decorates the room. It's spacious still. Benjamin, 60, sits carving a wooden sculpture, wearing a large black cloak. Bang, bang, bang! Benjamin flinches, cuts his finger.
Ah, damn. Come in.
Anne enters.
Oh, what is it this time, Anne?
Promise me you won't be mad.
I'll do no such thing.
It's Rachel. She's here.
Benjamin sighs, face palms.
And why do you keep doing this?
Someone has to. And while we're on the topic, I should not be the only one, Benjamin. I need a team.
That's not going to happen. You know the danger firsthand, and I don't want any of us getting hurt. I don't even want you out there.
What will happen if we don't do anything? I'm trying to protect us, our people, and I can't continue doing that on my own. I need help.
I'm done talking about this, Anne.
But if I could convince them...
If you could convince anyone, then fine. But you have to train them
Anne
yourself.
smiles, hugs Benjamin. Benjamin grunts.
Thank you. I promise you won't regret it.
That remains to be seen. Do you have anyone in mind yet?
Not yet. But who doesn't want to save people, right?
I'd look at Rachel. I'm sure she feels indebted to you to some degree.
Please, everyone here should.
Anne's room, later. Lit candles surround an amulet on Anne's table.
Can I ask you a
Anne carves
question?
at a wooden sculpture.
One.
Can I eat me or something?
Our people don't kill.
No, what happened to it? The thing at the jail?
She's in this amulet. Soon she'll pass on.
Rachel lays on Anne's bed.
Have you been doing this very long?
I said one. That's your third question.
Forgive me, I'm just trying to make sense of things.
I started learning at about 5.
Could you teach me?
Anne stops carving, looks at the rope burn running up her arms. Flashback. Exterior, grass hill, day. Creak! Anne, 5, watches her mother hang from a sturdy branch. Slowly swaying in the wind, the rope creaks and twists. Anne sobs.
Right now, child. Your mother is in a better place.
Anne flinches, looks up at Benjamin.
I have something for you.
He crouches down to her level, reaches into his cloak. He extends to Anne a poorly made rag doll. She takes it, her tears spill out onto it. End flashback. Interior, underground base, Anne's room, continuous. Anne looks at her rope burn.
I'll think about it.
Meeting room. Later, many people, old and young, sit at long tables, bickering with each other. A large podium sits at one end of the room. Benjamin sits in a chair behind it. Anne steps up to the podium.
Excuse me, everyone.
They continue bickering.
Everybody hear me.
They quiet down.
In light of the recent attacks on the town, and by extension our people, Benjamin and I have come to the conclusion that there must be more done to ensure our safety.
The crowd whispers.
Now that being said, our choices are limited. Choice number 1. Lie down and watch everyone you know and love die.
The crowd grows louder.
Or, choice number 2. We fight to show the town that we are better. That we are a community who believes in a future where we are not forced into hiding.
Benjamin shakes his head. The crowd stirs louder.
Who is going to join me in fighting for our people? Who is going to join me in defeating the threat that those people have created?
Rachel begins to raise her hand. Man 1, 27, slams his hand on the table.
Why must it be our job to clean up their mess? Shall humanity not reap what it sows?
People around him nod and slam the table.
My family lives in this town. You must be cracked.
Who said that?
Will you quit? Who is going to join me?
Rachel stretches her hand higher.
Anyone, please.
The crowd bickers. Rachel stands on her chair, raises her hand.
I volunteer!
The crowd quiets down.
Fine, Rachel, you're in. Anyone else?
The crowd sits quietly.
Anyone?
Anne looks behind her. Benjamin's chair sits empty. Exterior, forest, evening. Rachel stomps through the woods. She holds a map.
1,999.
Wipes sweat from brow.
Good to know you aren't a coward.
Thank you. Anne?
Anne walks up from behind a tree.
Your spatial awareness is disappointing. Lay your belongings on the ground.
Our training starts here?
Your training. But before any of that, straighten up.
Rachel stands tall over Anne, fixes posture, taller now.
Show me who you are and why you volunteered.
I'm Rachel Walker, and I volunteered to.
Anne's arm braces glow bright yellow. Anne socks Rachel in the face. Blood drips from Rachel's nose.
Ow!
I said show me, not tell me.
Anne squares up.
You want to fight beats, huh? You're gonna need to spill my blood first.
Rachel raises her fist reluctantly, sniffs up the blood. Rachel winds up a huge punch, rushes Anne. Anne swiftly counters with a left.
Go ahead, Rachel.
Rachel grabs Anne. Whack! This time a right hook from Anne. Anne goes to town pummeling Rachel. Anne's arm braces glow deep orange. Knocks Rachel to her ass with the back of a... Oh, wee! With her back against a tree. Rachel tries to get up. Bop, bop, bop. Anne keeps hitting.
Go ahead and hurt me.
Anne's braces glow dark red. Bop, bop, bop.
Do what your people do best and make me bleed.
Rachel shakily raises her arm. Rachel lightly slaps Anne on the cheek.
What are you doing this for?
Brother.
Huh, that's really...
Anne faints on top of Rachel.
Anne, are you alright?
Interior, underground base, Anne's room, later. Rachel sits on Anne's bed. Anne sits on a chair across from Rachel. They both eat soup from bowls. They pause.
I'll go first. What makes a brother so worth dying for?
What made me worth dying for?
Please, it wasn't about you. It was about protecting us, my people.
Right, you save me, you save your people. Makes sense.
Anne sits down her bowl.
You really don't know anything, do you? That beast I rescued you from was the spirit of one of our own people, tainted by hatred. The kind of hatred only your people are capable of. You'd be just like that beast had I not rescued you.
Anne looks to the end of the table.
Vindictive threat to my people.
You're wrong. I haven't an ounce of hatred for anyone.
Anne turns to Rachel.
What a joke. Have you already forgotten what they did to you? The horrors you endured while imprisoned by them?
I have not forgotten a thing.
Anne flinches back.
All this nonsense about your people and my people and this and that or the other. Before I came here, there was no your people. They still were my people and still are. Including you, Anne.
Rachel stands.
With or without you, I'm gonna protect my brother.
Marches out the room.
Thank you for the meal.
Anne sits, stares at the ground. Interior courthouse, day. The townsfolk sit in the pews. Chipped white paint plasters the walls. Anne sits at the back of the room, wears a long black dress. Benjamin sits in a black robe at the front of the room. Two old men sit on his right, in tall seats on the stands. Benjamin stands, unrolls parchment paper.
The reason for today's meeting is no doubt a situation we are by now all too familiar with. The prisoner, known as Rachel Walker, is the seventh, charged with witchcraft to be freed from containment. On that night, a guard from the jail reported to us that the prisoner ran off into the night with the witch whom had the assistance of a demon in the process of her escape. 3 guards were killed that night, but no more. It is our honor and privilege to announce the presence of a renowned witch hunter, John Clark III.
The crowd whispers amongst each other. Anne's jaw drops, shakes her head. John, 47, stands at the front of the room, gives a nod. Exterior, grass hill, day. Horses swing from hefty tree branches. No, why did I say horses? Holy shit. Nooses swing from hefty tree branches. Interior, underground base, Benjamin's room, later. Anne kicks down the door.
It is our honor and privilege.
Both of us have appearances to uphold. Do not forget my position.
You have to do something about John.
I'll do no such thing. You want me to take him out? Scare him away. I have children, a wife to take care of. I cannot take the risk. I just can't.
What about me? Can't I?
You will do nothing, Anne. Am I clear?
But
I have no plan. Nothing. Do you want to die? Or be tortured in a town jail? I didn't train you to throw yourself into dangerous situations. I trained you to defend yourself because I won't always be here to. Don't you understand? There is nothing we can do to stop this.
Tears well up in Anne's eyes. Anne wipes them. Benjamin reaches out to hug Anne. Anne runs out the door. Anne bumps into Rachel, keeps running past her. Rachel turns towards Benjamin's door. Benjamin stands in the hallway by the door, hand on the back of his neck, sighs. Anne's room, later. Crash, crack, swoosh. Anne throws her table at the wall, slams her chair on the ground, kicks her bed frame. Anne catches her breath. Knock, knock, knock.
What do you want?
I have something I've been meaning to give you.
Rachel pulls out a poorly made doll.
To thank you for saving my life.
You made this?
Yes. I get it's not the most well-made, but...
Anne closes the door. Anne sits with her back against the door. Looks at the doll. Closes her eyes. Flashback. Interior, grass hill, day. Anne, 5, takes the doll from Benjamin. End flashback. Her tears drop onto the doll. and finally lets it all out. She sobs, hugs the doll. She's a child again. Rachel takes her ear off the door, walks away, and cries, surrounded by the destroyed remains of her room. Meeting room, later. Rachel eats stew at one of the large tables.
Rachel, I've got something for you.
Anne takes a seat next to Rachel and extends a pair of red shoes to Rachel.
I've decided to officially begin your combat training today. Genuinely this time.
Yes.
Just like the ones I started on.
Right.
Right, well, I expect to meet you at the overlook outside of town.
Anne stands to leave.
And I'm not going.
What?
Until I get an apology for what happened last time.
Very funny. I don't have time for your jokes, Rachel.
I'm not joking. No apology, no Rachel.
Anne mean mugs Rachel.
Come on, Rachel. I'm serious.
Fine. I'm sorry. Are you happy?
Sorry for...
I'm sorry I bloodied you the way that I did.
Rachel grins, chuckles, breaks into laughter. Rachel slams her hand on the table and walks away.
Oops. Wait for me, Anne. I'm only messing with you.
Exterior, overlook, later. The tree growth cuts off just before the rock cliff, overlooking the town. Rachel stands at attention, wears the red shoes, and stands.
Are you prepared to obtain...
across from her.
Are you prepared to obtain the awesome burden that is the abilities of my people?
I think so.
Splendid. Let's begin.
Anne draws a dagger from her belt and folds her hand around the blade. She drags the edge down the palm of her hand. Blood gushes out of it.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Relax, Rachel. You'll get used to it.
A what?
Alright, now give me your hand.
No chance!
Don't be a child. Now give me your hand.
Rachel wrestles Anne. Anne's blood gets all over Rachel.
Come on,
We're not gonna cut me with
it'll
that
take a
blade.
second.
Ow, you got me all right.
Let me see.
No, it's really bad.
Just let me see.
Gunfire rings out from the town. Anne and Rachel take notice. People scatter like cockroaches. More gunshots. Anne takes advantage of the distraction, grabs Rachel's hand, cuts the palm.
What's wrong with you?
This is the only way you're going to learn magic.
Anne takes Rachel's bloody hand with hers. Rachel winces.
Congratulations. You're officially a witch, as your folk would say.
The gunshots continue. Anne hands Rachel a rag. Anne draws a telescope from her belt. Press. 36. Sports a trench coat. A dirty sack obscures his face. Press swings two giant stone blocks connected to the ends of each of his arms. Crushes a person between them.
Another one of these. Looks like your training is going to be hands-on. Come on.
Anne and Rachel run through the woods together.
Ooh, what is that thing, Anne?
Another one of your own. Pressed to death, quite recently.
Courthouse steps, moments later. Mantry crawls away from Press. Press smashes the man's leg with his large stone slab. The man screams in pain.
Please, somebody help me.
Help! Somebody help me! Press raises his enormous stone slabs. You sound just like I did at the press. What a sound! Press slams the man's other leg. The man screams. Now for the finish. He hovers his stone slabs over the man's torso.
Hey, Press, not so fast.
Anne and Rachel stand side by side. The braces on Anne's arm grow bright yellow. You get to suffer a little longer. Press turns his slab
Tap your arrows together 3
towards
times
him.
and keep everybody out of our way, while I tear out his heart.
All right.
Tap, 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 ding! Hinge stabbed the bottom of Rachel's heel. Rachel stands on her toes, her shoes glow bright yellow.
Ow! What was that?
Run, Rachel, run!
Rachel sprints into the village, leaves a large dust cloud. Town square. People run about in all directions.
People, run that way.
Rachel runs back and forth, winces in pain, blocks people from running toward the fight. Courthouse step. Moments later, Anne activates her shoes. Nice trick, girl. What do you think of mine? Press shoots his stone slab Press shoots his stone slab of a hand at Anne. Anne launches herself into the air. Press throws another punch with his other slab. Anne draws a wooden handle from her belt. Zing! A glowing yellow shield erupts from the handle. Anne parries the slab. It crashes into a building. What? Anne catches Press's head. Hello! And catches Press's arms, slides it down like a zip line. Okay, I'm gonna reread that. I'm so sorry. And catches Press's arm, slides down it like a zip line, and draws a dagger, flings it at Press's head. Stab! God, you ghastly girl! Press's hand slabs shrink.
You alright?
Slabs grow in place of his feet. Press winds up a kick, punts Anne. Anne flies into a window and crashes through a table and some chairs.
Ouch.
Town square. Rachel's shoes glow dark orange.
That's just about everybody.
Rachel spots Elijah.
When did I go quiet?
16, scrawny. Wears a navy blue blazer and socks
What the
up to his
fuck?
knees.
It's Lasagna, we can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
Sorry,
You can continue now.
when was I? Where was I?
Continue from Rachel's spots.
Rachel's spot. What page is that?
23, top of page 23.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't know when I cut out. I think it's because I yelled as Press. Oh. Rachel spots Elijah, 16, scrawny, wears a navy blue blazer and socks up to his knees, stands paralyzed in fear.
Elijah!
Press walks up the road.
God, Elijah, what are you doing?
Rachel runs towards Elijah. Press aims his arm slab. Stay still, boy.
Elijah!
Press launches one slab at Elijah. Anne sprints up the road toward Press. Press shoots his other slab at Anne. Anne monkey faults over his slabs, draws her hilt. Rachel grabs Elijah, launches herself into the air. Elijah snaps out of it.
Murderer.
Elijah pushes Rachel away. They both plummet to the ground. Anne plunges her glowing red sword into Press's heart, drags the blade up his body, splitting him nearly in half. A humanoid blue spirit emerges from his body like a snake shedding its skin. The spirit screams. Elijah runs away.
Wait!
Rachel scrambles to her feet to follow.
Rachel.
Rachel pursues Elijah.
Elijah, wait!
I don't want anything to do with you.
Rachel's shoes glow bright red. She speeds up, grabs him by his blazer collar.
Why are you running from me?
Because you're not just a witch, you're a killer. 3 guards, Rachel. You killed 3 of them. Rachel reaches out to hug him.
Elijah, you don't understand.
And I don't want to.
Elijah runs away. Tears well up in Rachel's eyes. Anne watches them both from a distance. Anne opens her mouth to say something. Never mind. The end.
Excellent job, readers. Sorry you keep cutting out Jade. I don't know what that's about. Oh, and Roman has a... Roman, are you gonna, like, give feedback when we get to you, or do you want me to just read this out right now?
I may or may not be here. I don't know. So yeah, I guess you could read it.
Yeah, we'll just see. We'll just start with Zach for now. But yeah, good job reading, guys, and thank you, Paul, for sharing. Very much enjoyed it. Love me a good fantasy script. Harrowing chases. Feedback we're looking for, guys, is if this was the first chapter in a graphic novel / manga, would you feel inclined to continue reading? So yeah, Zach, is it alright if we start with you?
Yeah, I was literally about to say what Evil Michael just said. Gotta be a TV series. I'm probably not the right audience for a manga or an anime thing, but it's very well written. The dialogue is very nice. There's a clear structure, there's a clear path. Rachel, and there's a nice thing going on with Rachel and Anne, and there's a bit with Elijah at the end. But I'd probably look at trying to turn this into a TV series. Maybe turn this into a pilot. There's a lot going on. It's a very nice opening story. There's a lot of potential in it. You can take it in different areas. The creature at the start was quite interesting. The spirits, and there's a lot that works for this. But I'm probably not the right audience if it turns into a manga. I'm probably the right audience if it is written as a TV show. So yeah, very impressed with this. Very impressed. I'll probably give it another read tomorrow. And then I can sort of give a bit more detailed feedback to Paul directly.
Thank you, Zach.
That's all from me.
Mm-hmm. Stacy, she. I tried. I gotta. Wait, can we hear you now?
Me?
No, Stacy. Stacy, I still can't hear you. You might just have to. What was that?
After? Can I get feedback next after?
Okay. All right. Yeah, Stacy, you're gonna have to type it. But yeah, go ahead, Jadea.
Hello, I'm Jadea, and I kept cutting out. It's really sad. I enjoyed myself. There was at some point when Rachel gives Anne the doll, you forgot to mention that Anne took the doll, and then there's a lot of like repeated phrases, which is just a nitpick of mine, which it's just like it makes it a little awkward to read for me personally. Don't know if that's how anyone else would feel, where you just repeat a word or you repeat what happens in the action lines. It's a little distracting. In any case, I think the action was well done, and the action lines are great. So is the dialogue. I guess I feel like maybe I would like to spend more time with Anne and Rachel together, because it feels like I would like to build up their banter for Rachel to make that joke of like, you have to say sorry kind of thing. And like laughing about it, because it felt a little out of place for her to start laughing. Like I wanna see more rapport out of them, basically. Just build up like their dynamic a bit more. Like Rachel being the eager student and Anne being like the stone cold little girl who's actually like very sensitive deep inside and all this stuff. And I think you could make her lashing out scene a lot more intense, maybe with more visuals, like describing more visuals, because I feel like there's a lack of like visual storytelling in this. Like, you are making a manga, so I'd like to see a little more details about how that manga will be made with their visuals, like maybe like like maybe detailing how the wood splinters as she throws a table or something. I just feel like it'd be like make it more intense if you detail how destroyed things are, or like how hard she's throwing it, like make a fucking impact, basically. And I think that's all I have to say. I don't have much to say. I enjoyed myself. Thank you very much. I liked reading, but then I cut out, and then I didn't like reading anymore because I wasn't there.
Thank you, Jade. Let's see. Roman, did you have any feedback? Or did you want me to read your paragraphs out loud? Yeah, let me just read Roman stuff. Voice from darkness and shrouded in darkness repeat the same thing. You can reduce things like that. But I really enjoy the action lines. It's pretty quick and condensed, all things considered. Bravo. A bit of voice is added too, which is nice. Characters are well defined and distinct to me. I like them. Nice world building as well. Not too much and not too little. It's interesting. But the sudden shift to incredible violence is a little jarring. I get it's supposed to be intense. It works, I suppose. But she attacks her relentlessly, then they have a convo like she isn't caring she was smacked around, unless I'm wrong. She says she has no hate towards anyone. I get the idea for the overall story, but her being so nice after a beating, maybe she could be icing herself or something. Not sure if ice makes sense in this world. And a little more touchy or frustrated. I'm not sure. But her too nice nature is a little too much here in my opinion. She can still be forgiving or not keeping hate, but she was beat up. But she is willing to die for her brother. I don't feel her letting herself die in that moment would be good for her brother. I do like the forgiveness part later. It is nice. Rachel is consistent in her way of being a bit too forgiving at times, so it works. It works if that's her trait. Thank you, Roman. Radio Guy, any feedback?
So I guess if there's one thing I gotta bring up first, can we just like take a minute to appreciate how great of a name Benjamin is? It rolls off the tongue. It looks good, and when you think about it, Benjamin, and you'll never be able to unsee that. You'll never be able to unsee Benjamin. He always be jamming. Anyway, I'm really freaking sorry. I had. Yeah, everyone pay homage to Benjamin. But I'm really sorry. I had an existential crisis while the script was being read, and I was trying my hardest to pay attention. But from what I did get, the world is it's very cool. The creatures were cool. I gotta say I felt a lot of Flutter vibes. I felt I like I it felt I felt a lot of Flutter vibes from this to the point where well, you know, it's, anywho, notes. So the characters were also very fun to listen to, and like they were like some of the dialogue is really was really like fun to listen to. Some of like the characters feel very well developed. I'm sorry that I don't have a lot to say. Again, I had an existential crisis while it was going, which was very unfortunate. And yeah, also for lasagna, that could not have been cash money. And then you didn't get to read the ending. That couldn't have been cash money.
I know, right?
And, okay. That's all, folks.
Thank you, Radio Guy.
Everyone's having technical difficulties now. It's so fucking sad.
Oh. That's fine. We can... Oh, sorry, Morgana. Let's see. Nerdy Boy Crafter, did you have any feedback? Maybe everybody's computers are just... Wait, no. Yeah, maybe everybody's computers are just acting up today. Nerdy Boy Crafter. Alright. Morgana, is your computer uncrashed?
Yes.
There you are.
I like this. I think I was a little. Oh, is this? When is this taking place? Is this like the? I was a little confused about that. And okay, so Rachel is 20, Anne is 15. I thought that's interesting. It seemed to me like Anne was older, but maybe that's just because of the flashbacks. But I think the best part of the script is their relationship, which you're building at. And this being, I don't know, a pilot, or I guess it's not even a TV series. It's going to be like a manga or graphic novel or something like that, which is important to build in the first chapter or episode, wherever it's going to end up. And I think that's the central relationship, which is important. Let me see, just going by. Elijah sort of comes out of nowhere at the end. Do we meet him at the end? And like Rachel's saying, Elijah, Elijah. So she knows him. So I guess that's something we're going to figure out later. But overall, I think this is pretty good in terms of building the relationship between Rachel and Anne. And that's where the majority of the story is. So I think it does a good job of that. So maybe there needs to be like some cleaning up in terms of like maybe some of the action lines, like, because there's a lot of, and maybe this is just me, but when it comes to action lines, some of them are like one sentence thing, I think some of them could, like, you can make them into like a full action. I don't know how to describe this. I'm not good at this. But like you could like delete the space and it could be just like one action line of just like 2 line. Okay, I'm just gonna stop because I'm bad at this. But yeah. Overall I thought it was good in terms of the relationship between the 2 characters.
Morgana,
Okay, bye.
you're doing great. No. Aw.
He's been Thanos snapped.
Oh shit.
Thank you, Morgana. Let's see. Today you've gone. Joel, did you have any feedback?
Oh yes, I really enjoyed this. I really struggled to get like in what's the word? Like absorbed into scripts, and you did it, which is very rare. I'd say like engrossed, that's the word. Like I'd say 1 in 30 scripts do that to me. And this one did it. Like, oh my goodness. I really want to read the whole thing. I want to read everything you have in this because I loved it so much. What I loved so much, I don't know. But it was just brilliant. It was a lot of world building. I think I might have missed something at the beginning of the script because it felt like I missed some information somewhere along the line. About like the difference between brain, you can do it, between Anne and as my audio dropped out. My audio dropped out on Discord for no reason at all. The difference between Anne and the other character, Rachel, why does one have the magic already and the other doesn't? What is their link? And that's something I wasn't so clear on, so a bit of clarity around there. But otherwise, I loved it so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joel. He did any feedback? Great job on Benjamin.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the beginning starts a bit fast, and that like the guard is gonna kill Rachel so easily. He's like, "Oh, you've brought your familiars with you," and he starts loading up his gun, but it's a prisoner. Like he's just so easy to kill her. I thought was a bit. I bumped on it, you know. The guard running away. It's a cute joke, right? But I feel like it takes away from the action. It's very cute, the idea like this whole monster is happening, this creature in jail, and then it's just a quick scene of someone like running away, and then it cuts back to the action. I'm 50-50 on that one. I guess the motive, I feel Anne needs a bigger motive. I know she's trying to be a good person of like, she wants to save people. Who doesn't want to save people? But I feel like it needs more. It needs more story for her, or something deeper. I thought the action was pretty good. It does have that manga type of feel, and that you're like, I could see how you read it almost panel by panel. And there's a good pacing with it. Even this training scene, I thought was really good. I think it's Anne beating the shit out of Rachel, just bop, bop, bop. I thought that was pretty. I like that actually, and also building up the idea of braces, of her red braces turning yellow, orange, then red. I thought that was cool. Also, I thought it was really cute the idea of like doll making, or like carving a sculpture, a wooden sculpture. And during these times, the blood sacrificing, they don't sacrifice, but just cutting their hands. And I thought that was really cute between them. I thought that was a funny scene. I feel like we could use more magic, at least.
I
A few more magic. And I thought towards the end, though, I did feel it was a bit forced with Elijah. Just kind of throwing into the action, like we're supposed to care, like what he thinks during this calling her a murderer. But we don't know who he is. So I felt like you could have put him at the beginning. Maybe he gives her a bad look at the start, like just making known that he does not like her. I know people don't like Rachel for being a murderer or a thief or whatever, but or was it Anne? I'm confused. I'm confusing the characters. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it needs more world building. I think it needs more characters. Also, it feels um, it feels like you almost have it there, but I think the world building needs more. It needs more importance. I feel like you're just throwing the scenes in there, like just some cool action scenes, and they are cool, but I feel like it needs more world building. And I think, like I said before, not to repeat myself, but more characters, just more, more about this town, honestly, and why she wants to protect this town, I think would help. And yeah, that's all I got.
Can I go again?
Yeah, thank you, Heated. And yeah, did you have something to say about the blood pact at Claire's?
Do you want me to call it cute? No, I have something. Yeah, it's super cute, dude. I have something to say about the story. So what I want to say is that to connect it all together, I think if you add more scenes between Rachel and Anne, that'd be great. And also, maybe their dynamic could be that Rachel sees Anne as a little sister in a way, like sees how vulnerable Anne truly is at some point, and realizes that this reminds me of my little brother, and ends up like sort of mothering her. And then we can see how much Rachel's brother means to her, sort of through this, because you see how she treats Anne like a sister and all this stuff. And I think that is cool. That's what you're planning. That's cool. Do it now. I think that that's what could solidify their relationship, sort of. And Anne, it's just like, you're smothering me. I kind of hate you right now. I'm going to beat the shit out of you, all this shit. But Rachel's just like, little baby's throwing a tantrum. I'm kidding. But she seems like a very empathetic person, and very forgiving to everyone. So I do, anyway, so you know what I'm saying, right? You get it? I don't know. But I feel like you could connect it a lot earlier so that people understand. Rejecting her is a little more clear and a little more impactful. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Judea. Let's see, Fox, did you have any feedback?
Yeah, I actually really did like this. I thought the dialogue was great. I do like the relationship of Rachel and oh, please excuse me, I forgot the name. That relationship was really good. It does actually remind me a little bit of Willow for some reason. I don't know why. But no, I think it's really good. Again, I think the dialogue was really good. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Ain't you, Fox? We'll make my own language now. Evil Michelle. Did you have any feedback, Evil Michael?
Oh, okay. I thought that you were being sarcastic. Yeah. Yeah, I love this. This is exactly the kind of TV show I would binge watch. This is a perfect PG-13 movie or a soap opera or a series. Congratulations on getting right to the action. We start with a jailbreak. I don't care how corny it is. Just, show somebody in jail and here come the rescuers and they kick their ass and it's action-packed. I like the way you did it. I wrote something like this, and my teacher said, that's very Shane Gray of you. You put an action line, rips it fucking in half. I put a line like that, and my instructor said, how very Shane Gray of you. So I looked up Shane Gray, and that's what he does. Good job on the interruption dialogue. A lot of people are missing it. I don't know if you got it right or half right. I'm about to put it in the dialogue, in the chat now. So you add dashes to the interrupter. So I'm talking now, and then dashes, and then I interrupt you. So for the person who's doing the interrupted, put 2 dashes in front, and you'll have it perfect. And I've seen people do that before, or even type out, and he interrupts. Don't do that. So that's the only technical thing. I love this. I would binge watch this. Each character is well defined. They have their own distinct voice. And it's kind of camp over the top. This is the kind of TV show that actors would kill to be on. I don't know how many of you youngsters, I get to say that because I'm an old ass fart. I don't know how many of you have ever seen the old Batman show, 1960s with Burt Ward and Adam West, but some of the top film and TV actors flocked to that show. Why? It was over the top. It was ridiculous. They got to dress in these outrageous costumes and go, hey, and I am such an evil person. I'm going to do this to you. And this script is loaded with this. Something like this is an actor's dream come true. I love that these characters are not one-dimensional. Be careful. The characters do not have to be one thing and all that and that one thing all the time. Give your character dimension. That's why The Simpsons have been on the air for 34 years. Bart gives Lisa hell. He's always bothering her. But Bart will take a butt whooping, as he has in several episodes, if somebody outside other than him messing with Lisa. Martin Prince may be a little know-it-all and a little intellect, little guy, but I've seen him take a whip to Bart Simpson in the Soapbox Derby episode. Nelson is a little thug. He loves homemaking and he loves cooking. So those kind of contrasts, which I'm seeing in these characters, will keep this series afloat for a long time. I love. Show me why you want to do this. Well, I let her. Pow! Got in trouble for doing it last week, didn't I? And then she punches her. I said, show me, don't tell me. Oh, beautiful. So this is exactly the kind of thing that I would binge watch, take us into that fantasy world, do whatever you want. When you write this kind of fantasy, you do not have to follow one single rule. Well, I hate you now, but I love you next. Oh, you're allied with them, so I'm kind of allied with them, but I hate them as much. And it's like Africa. It's like Southeast Asia. You don't know who's fighting whom at any given moment. And I love your dialogue. I really love this. I'm with Joel on this. You had me going, and I wanted to do some more. So you are definitely going to submit some more of these pages for us to read. And I'm going to give applause to the readers today. Another example of why these kind of readers' theaters are what writers need to hear good readers read their stuff.
Thank you, Eva Michael. Yes, as always, good job, everyone. Did a very good job reading the theater. But Dan, did you have any feedback?
Sure. I read this before, and Paul, I gave you a bunch of feedback that, honestly, the story looks very similar to the version that you had given me before, even though I had mentioned a bunch of things that I thought needed changing, like, honestly, well, first of all, why did they kill those prison guards when they were like, we need to stop killing humans? Because they were trying to kill you, but suddenly they want to protect people? I'm not understanding the difference between these humans and the other humans. This otherizational, I get that's the message of the show, but I'm kind of missing out on what otherizes. They didn't kill the guards? I'm pretty sure the guy that Elijah said you killed three guards.
Yeah. What? No, there was a dialogue that said, yeah.
Pretty sure
did the creature kill the guard? I'm confused. Oh, weird. The creature killed the guard, says Paul. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Then my bad about that. Still, I still don't understand why Rachel is treated kind of nasty. Like everyone's like, "Oh God, I hate that Rachel girl." Or by everyone, I mean Ben and Ann. But for some reason, they just can't stand. They rescue her, but they still hate her. I'm getting some mixed signals. I don't know. I just want to make sure everything. I just want to understand I kind of get where things are going after that, but opening up, it's just mostly Anne that's hating, and mostly Rachel is trying to be nice, but their relationship kind of goes weird. Like it starts out with Anne going, "I will rescue you." And then Rachel's like, "I want to help you." And then Anne's like, "Oh God, does any actual normal, good, non-useless people want to help me?" And then she's like mean to her. I don't know. And then I kind of get this almost flirtatious nature from them, which I'm cool with, even though almost flirtatious with the apology thing, which was like, okay, a little weird, especially considering the age difference. But it almost came across maybe not flirty, maybe it's a little too playful for their relationship so early. The idea of the mentor being younger is interesting for one. I don't know. I feel like I'm retreading on a lot of ground that other people have been treading on. So, and I've told you a lot of stuff about this story as is, so I'm going to let it rest now.
All right, thank you, Dan. And did anyone have any feedback that I didn't get before we finish up?
There's one bit I wanted to add on. I'm not sure if it was said or not. But I had a bit of an issue with some of the dialogue. I'm going to see if I can find it very quickly. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, some of it, like on page, what is this, page 15, Benjamin's dialogue, there's like a massive block. No, there's a big one on page 14. I think there's a rule to try and keep it like up to 4 or 5 lines unbroken. So you've got the beat which separates it a bit. Just trying to divide it up a bit with like action lines or just something like that. Because that is a big block of text. But yeah, that was all I wanted to add.
Thanks, Joel. And as I said earlier, I can't really give much useful feedback on longer works. In the middle of an event, I've decided I usually just regurgitate redundant stuff. And so, Paul, I will contact you with an annotated Google Doc sometime soon. I just want to give this the analysis it deserves, because, as we've said, it's very engaging so far. But good job reading, everyone. Good job giving feedback. I hope you all had fun at our table reads, as I always hope you do. Check our events roster for an impossible number of events. There's just so many now. Like, earlier I would just say some of them in the next coming days, but you just have to click on it. There's so many. You can't not go to one. So please, take advantage of these resources.
All
I'm very
time
good
shown here
speaking
out in
English.
BST.
But yeah, and here's the blurb for table read submissions. The 5-page reads are free. Full-length ones are at 100 script coins. And yeah, just submit them, man. We are always so excited to see all the different scripts we get. Excited to see you guys' different stories, your voices. Yeah, it's just such a nice community we have. Very, I don't know, just from all walks of life. I don't know where I was going with that. I love hearing from you guys, is what I mean. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. You guys have a superb 7 days. Until then, good night.
That's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Join us on our Discord. The link is in the description of this video. And we hope you join us for our next ScriptCamp event.